It's a Wonderful Knife is obviously a film that was concocted to benefit from some of the attention Eli Roth's long-anticipated Thanksgiving would receive, and so you can't really take it seriously. It's a bad film with mediocre performances and a very silly script. But It's a Wonderful Knife also does have some fun kills and jokes that land, so it's the type of movie you'd watch when nothing else is on. A horror spoof of It's a Wonderful Life is tailor-made for a Wednesday night accompanied by a kebab in one hand and a beer in the other. Or whatever you eat when you can't be asked to cook. The story is set in Angels Falls. It's an all-American small town that's been turned upside down and inside out, and so you've got more or less the same story as It's a Wonderful Life, except instead of celebrating community spirit and the decency of the average American, you've just got a whole lot of blood and guts, backbiting and malice. And that's before you even get to the killer. Yes, all the people you're supposed to like in this film are awful. Are American teenagers really like this? Australians are awesome by comparison. The way teenagers are shown in the recent horror film Talk to Me is quite accurate. Yeah, you can have people be snarky, but in general, we're here for a good time and all are welcome. But I digress. Now, if you're a politically motivated film lover, and yes, that's an oxymoron in my opinion, then this film is not for you. It's so obnoxiously woke that you'll want to find out where the writer Michael Kennedy lives and give him a Kaczynski cuddle, which I don't endorse. I'm just explaining how they'd respond to it. Sometimes all a man wants to do is share the warm embrace of a homemade explosive with those who got in his way. It's a Wonderful Knife gives us two lesbians, a gay son, a gay OnlyFans model, a black granddaughter with white grandfather. Every straight couple is interracial. The kind white man, played by the quintessentially good-looking actor, turns out to be the killer, because good straight men are, naturally, a myth. And of course, the only all-white couple are also evil, or depicted as having cuckoldry be a part of their relationship. And lest I forget, this is all set in an idyllic American small town. As you can already tell, the agenda is so on the nose that if you can't see it, then it's too late for you to be considered rational. Now I get it, Michael Kennedy is gay and he wants to see himself on screen. He's writing what he knows, although what that is, I can't tell. He thinks he can use this platform to help other young people to feel seen and know they're not alone. That's cool. But the way he goes about it is moronic. Take a minute and think. William Friedkin was an agnostic Jew, and that didn't stop him from creating The Exorcist with its very strong Catholic messaging. Martin Scorsese is a Catholic, and yet that didn't stop him from creating Kundun, which tells the story of the Dalai Lama. Joss Whedon is an atheist, and yet that didn't stop him from having a crucifix be of essential use against vampires in Buffy, and even referring to heaven's existence. All these men have created inspiring or entertaining stories for people of all races and creeds and dealt with ideas they didn't personally subscribe to. The self-evident point is that a good artist, be it writer or director, isn't so myopic that he can't empathize with others and can produce work which authentically represents something on screen, even if the artist themselves doesn't personally agree with it. A focus on good storytelling, period, ensured these men would create great stories which resonate to this day. It's a Wonderful Knife fails to do this because Michael Kennedy is more into propaganda than being a genuine writer. A few recent tweets from him indicate that he's aware of this, and it is a horrible way to approach the medium. Not because of his sexuality or homosexuality in general, but for the low artistic standard. Did Michael Kennedy get into Hollywood because of merit, or because he comes from a wealthy family and ticks a diversity box? These are the rhetorical questions which keep me up at night. Now, the film does have a few highlights. As I mentioned, the kills, the gore, the horror set pieces, call it what you want, I found them to be entertaining. One scene has the killer bursting forth from a snowman, and another has him killing someone with the pointy end of a decorative candy cane. Now, this isn't particularly clever or even necessarily scary, but they were well made and in keeping with the silliness of the concept. Director Tyler MacIntyre receives a passing grade here as he demonstrates an ability to make a solid horror movie, and the Christmas-themed chaos is exactly what you want to watch. I think this is especially true if you're a fan of trash, as I am, especially as the days grow darker and colder. Or in Australia's case, hotter and hotter and hotter until everything is covered in sweat! The killer is referred to as the Angel, and so the costume design was also a real delight. It was nice to see a killer that's all in white instead of the quintessential darker colours, and it helps set It's a Wonderful Knife apart from others. Justin Long is goofy psychotic, Joel McHale is Jeff Winger, and Jane Widdop is decent as the lead character Winnie. The real highlight though was Jess McLeod as Bernie, who is often referred to as Weirdo. She was the best part of the whole film and deserves MVP status in my opinion. Now, none of this is high praise, but it is at least acknowledgement that some things work well enough. For the most part, It's a Wonderful Knife is mediocre, and the 5 out of 10 on IMDb is a completely accurate assessment. You have all the tropes of a horror film, like an obvious killer or the lead character wasting the upper hand whenever they have one, but these aren't redeemed by clever horror scenes. What it does have are a few jokes which land and will put a grin on your face, assuming of course you're not in the heavily politicized mold that I mentioned. So ultimately, It's a Wonderful Knife is not a good film. It's completely disposable and unimaginative. But if you've got nothing else on, then go check it out. There is some fun to be had. Thanks for watching.
And get my life back.
You be safe now. Leave.